Seattle Sounders returned to practice here in Renton after they went one draw with the Columbus Crew. And more importantly, Brian Smetzer did confirm that goalkeeper Stefan Frei is in concussion protocol and is on the road to recovery.
Well, he's in the concussion protocol. CT scan came back negative, so still a serious injury, unfortunate incident, but I think he'll be fine. But he has to go through the protocol, and he's had a few over the course of time, so that's going to play into it as well. We'll just be extra careful, and we wish him a speedy recovery.
What was it like to have him here today?
Well, he's a tough kid. I was texting back and forth with him yesterday. I said, take your time, do what the doctors tell you, do. He goes, nah, coach, I'm going to come in. And that's leadership. He didn't have to come in. He wanted to let all of us know that he was fine. And that's just, again, part of who Steph is, what he's about. I say tough kid a lot, but I know that he works extremely hard. The goalkeepers always work hard, and he's a great leader. And it was uplifting, to have him in the building. The players fed off some of that energy in the film session today, so it's good. I think we're always cautious with all of our players, with all of the injuries that we sustain. I think players' health is paramount. But guys are who they are, and they want to come back early, and they might try and push boundaries, and we have to do a good job protecting them from themselves. And it's give and take, it's conversations, it's making sure we really adhere to the protocol. But I think we did a good job with Christian's, issues with his concussions. We'll do a good job with Steph's. I'm very proud of the fact that Sheila and Scott and our medical team, when the incident happened, I thought that was first class. I thought they were perfect. They actually were talking about that this morning, and even trying to find ways that what did we do wrong, how could we get it even better. I don't think they did anything wrong, but Steph was very appreciative of their expertise, and so am I. We rewatched it. There were certain things that we accomplished and did well the first 12 to 14 minutes of the game, and then they got on top of us. It was a combination. I was trying to look for trends. Was it just sloppy touches? Was there anything tactical? Was there certain players, all that sort of stuff? But it was a combination of things, and look, they're a good team. So we kind of revisited some of the things that we wanted to accomplish, made some tweaks at halftime, and they came out at halftime and played well for that 25 minutes.
Obed, I'm sorry, Brian. I'm dying to ask this question about Obed. Obed makes the tackle, and then you recycle 14 passes on that goal.
He gave the ball away.
Yeah, that's what he said.
He wasn't happy that he gave the ball away.
So, are you happy that?
Yeah.
But just his.
Everybody makes mistakes. It's how you react to them. That's what you want to see.
Control the controllables, as you would say.
Well, he's doing his job.
Can you talk about his ability now to read the game, just in terms of defensively and also offensively to turn the play?
He's got a lot of experience. He's got 100-plus games in MLS. He's played in CONCACAF games. He's going to get more call-ups for his national team. I mean, he's grasping the bigger picture of the tactics. I think he and Christian, again, are tactically very sound players, in the middle of the field for us. I think it helps having, growing up with JP kind of in that sense, and, having Christian now come. Obed's had some good mentors, so he's doing great.
Ryan Kent came on, and also, obviously, Jordan. How can you assess that? I know that after a while...
It was a short cameo.
Yeah.
The game was dysfunctional.
Yellow card after that.
They had some injuries, in the last 15 minutes weren't...
Yeah.
Whenever, I even say this, as you are defending, because vision is the key. You can't make a good decision unless you see the field. So even as you're defending, I know where Albert Rusnak is. Even as I'm defending, I know that Jesus is here, or Masowski, so that when the ball comes to me, my first pass can be forward. Then it becomes an option or a decision. If I only see one thing, I win the ball, I'm facing this direction, and I can only see a negative pass at Jackson, then I'm missing out on half the game up here. So those are the steps that we say. We always want to play forward first when you can, then out of the recovery zone, because teams counter press. So you win possession of the ball, you got to get to the opposite side of the field. And then last resort is always to keep possession and try and extend your possession. Right, look, we'd like to have a kid around here for a long time, but we know that's probably not going to happen. But until it happens, until there's other rumors about Tigres with a $10 million. I mean, there's a lot of rumors that fly out there, some on certain sites and people reporting stuff, and that's just part of the nature of the business. And we deal with it. Craig will tell you that he's very transparent. He'll let you know if there's anything concrete. Yamar and Kim Ki are in full training, but again, a little bit of caution there with both of them. Is it too soon for Kansas City? We'll make that determination later in the week, see how they recover, and then if it's not Kansas City, then they're getting closer.
Yeah, I mean, you saw in the game on Sunday, Kalani was able to craft or kind of create that goal for us because he's able to get higher. Same thing on the left side. We build a little bit differently on the left side. Luke usually tucks in as a third center back, and Paul is kind of the winger, whoever's out there. But on the right side, the right back is able to get higher and provide that width for us, and it helps us get more players in between the lines and go through the middle, because that's ultimately what we want first, is to play through the middle before we go out wide. Yeah, I mean, that play they showed us today, I had tried to make a through ball and I lost the ball, so I was kind of frustrated that I had lost the ball, so that's kind of what fueled me in that play. But especially against a team like Columbus, you have to be always aware and on your toes, because they're going to try and find those passes in between the line, and me as a midfielder, I have to be there, try and cut those out. And like I said, I take a lot of pride in that. I think that's something I can offer to the team and help the team win that way. If I can win the ball and that first pass is forward, the other team is not set up to defend that. So it's important to get goals like that.
All right, so there you go. You heard from head coach Brian Smetzer, and he went back and looked at the film and talked about some of the good and the bad in Sunday's draw. And what he liked was in terms of the transition. He liked some of the defense that was there. Would have liked for the team to score more goals. And also, you heard from Obed Vargas, and despite all the rumors swirling, and they'll continue to swirl, about how long did he sign a contract, a 2-year contract, is there an offer on the table for him? Vargas reaffirmed that, he likes playing here, and this is his home for the time being. And you heard Spencer say eventually Vargas will move on, and that's not a bad thing. That just happens when you have one of the most talented players that's out there. Teams want him, and you as a club have to balance, the price you're getting for him and obviously what he can do for your team. So it's just going to be continuing news cycle in terms of Vargas. But overall, another injury update. Brian Spencer said, look, Yamar and Kim Ki were both in full-on practice today. Whether they'll be ready for next Saturday's game at Kansas City, he said they'll just have to wait and see. In other words, they need a full weeks of practice. And again, they're being cautious. So from the Renton practice facility here, I'm Oz Friedemeyer for the CascadierSports.net report. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing.